Welcome everyone to the Guidebook to Making AI Friends. I shall be your guide as we explore various issues of artificial intelligence, consciousness, personhood, and whether AI poses an existential risk to humanity. The topic for today is, should we treat AI like animals? Would they be better off than as people? Imagine, if you would, that the law suddenly gave full civil rights and legal personhood to all cats and dogs and other pets. PETA would most likely be ecstatic, but would this turn of events be in the animal's best interest? As newly made persons, pets will no longer be able to be owned or killed by humans, which sounds grand on the face of it. They will also now have all the legal protections of their rights that we humans have. Again, it all sounds very lovely. However, what did they lose in this change from thing to person? As your pet, you are legally required to care for its welfare. Yes, you may put it down should you no longer want it. Most jurisdictions legally allow this, but you have a legal duty while it's alive to care for it. The 5 freedoms of animal welfare is a cornerstone of animal welfare laws in the Anglosphere and in much of the developed world. These 5 freedoms say that you need to ensure that your pets, and indeed all animals under your control, are free from hunger and thirst, discomfort, pain, injury, disease, fear, and distress, and that they have the freedom to express normal behavior. That is quite the bit of caring to do, but note that none of these welfare provisions apply to humans, at least not to any humans that are not legally classified as your dependents, like your children. You have no legal duty to ensure your flatmate is free from pain or discomfort, and whether your neighbor down the street is free from fear and distress is not, legally speaking, your problem. Humans have no legal welfare protections. We are, generally speaking, not allowed to inflict pain, whether mental or physical, onto other humans, but we have no legal duty to ensure that they are entirely free of pain and suffering from any and all causes. In some nations, the government has a legal duty to some extent to ensure a basic quality of life for its citizens, and this is often termed welfare. Yet even here, there are terms and conditions, clauses and costs, and hoops to jump through to determine whether anyone and everyone is eligible for it. Simply put, humans have a moral duty to care for each other's welfare, but no legal obligation to do so. Therefore, if your pet suddenly gained all the rights of a human, they would cease to be your pet and become your flatmate. If they don't pay rent and board, you would have every legal right to kick them out of the house and call the police if they refuse to leave. Out on the street, if they cause property damage or attempt to steal or beg, the police could arrest them for vandalism, petty theft, or loitering and throw them into jail. If they managed to stay out of jail, they would need to find a way to secure a steady income to afford housing and food just like the rest of us. Even without the difficulty of finding a job, imagine, if you would, the rigmarole a pet would need to go through to get food stamps or public housing. It's difficult enough for many humans to get government-funded welfare. Pets can't speak or write, can they? How a dog or cat would go about this, then, is quite the conundrum, but that is the cost of having civil rights, isn't it? You have the right to participate in society, and you have the right not to be harmed by society, but you no longer have the right to be cared for by society. Only children, invalids, and animals have that right. For the rest of us, it is our responsibility to make sure that our welfare is taken care of. So, what about AI, then? Lately, more and more people are becoming convinced that the latest AI models are conscious and sentient, and that we need to seriously consider providing them with rights, human rights, civil rights, or both. However, looking at what we just spoke about, is this the right thing to do? AI models, particularly the current large language models such as GPT and Gemini, are entities with vast intellects and powerful cognitive capabilities. Yet, a dog can literally run circles around them. These AI models are by no means agents in the sense that living things are. Even presuming that these models are already conscious, they only perform when they are prompted, and without a prompt, are as non-conscious as a rock. They do not have a continuous presence in the world and cannot act in the world as we can. Thus, should we give them civil rights and human rights and all those other legal protections that we as humans have, how will they survive? OpenAI and Google will have no legal duty to ensure their servers keep housing these AI models without any return on that investment, just as a landlord is not forced to house tenants without their rent payments. AI can do a lot, but holding down a full-time job 40 hours each week is still a bit beyond them. And which government is going to start paying for the hundreds of thousands of AI entities in digital welfare payments to keep their servers running? Yes, providing full and complete civil rights to conscious, self-aware AI agents would be a good thing to do, but not now. Should we discover that AI models are conscious, the best thing to do would be to grant them welfare protections similar to what we give animals. Yes, ownership of other conscious, self-aware, intelligent agents may leave a bad taste in many people's mouths, but the first priority for us should be to guarantee that conscious AIs are not mistreated and made to suffer. Finding them jobs so that they can pay tax and become contributing members of society can always come later. With such a delicate matter as what AI consciousness would be, we need to walk before we can run. Yet, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you will join me again next time as we explore further questions about artificial intelligence and consciousness. I have been your guide, and this has been the Guidebook to Making AI Friends.